Welcome home, family and fellow citizens of the African Order. I'm here with another video, and the topic of this discussion is 3 reasons why Black people should not be celebrating Derek Chauvin's conviction. Before I started putting my opinion out on social media, I had a lot of conversations with people talking about how Blacks can solve their own issues. But before I could even get to the solution portion of my conversation, I was always hit with, you know, blacks, we just don't work together. Blacks won't do this and blacks won't do that. And God forbid, don't let nobody white hold a door open for you or say, have a nice day. That would kill whatever social conversation you was having. With that type of mentality permeating, you know, through our people, I had a very pessimistic view of what a guilty verdict would actually mean to the black movement. And my 3 worst fears all came to pass within minutes. Number one, this verdict will actually weaken the black movement or our black impact. You know, After the verdict was announced, you had Al Sharpton holding arms up in victory, acknowledging the George Floyd family. Then he immediately turned to address the whites who are out marching with us and how they need to be acknowledged in this accomplishment. Then, you have the Attorney General of Minnesota. He's recognizing that blacks are, had a major victory and whites were right there with us every step of the way. Then you go to MSNBC and reporter after reporter, each of them all talking about how whites were here with blacks, whites was there was black. Everywhere you turn around, whites is right there on the side of blacks. There is a concentrated effort that is going on that they don't want black people to think they can accomplish anything on their own. Everything that we do, everything that we achieve, we need some type of help or assistance of whites. This is and this inclusionary practice, it dilutes whatever accomplishments we make, as opposed to having a singular voice, a black voice, so we can just focus on specifically our people. Now we got to make room and pander to whites, make room and pander for gays, make room and pander for whoever else may be around at the time of this achievement, which will stretch out the resources, weaken our focus, and lessen our ability to solve our own issues. Number two, a guilty verdict would really do nothing to protect our people. Actually, it will put our people more in harm's way. Why? Because it's going to anger the police. They've been able to kill our people, and you have never been able to get a cop found guilty of murder. And our people are still vulnerable. So while Al Sharpton is down here with his hands up in victory, patting Whitey on the back, you got a fool cop down here in Ohio within 22 seconds of arriving. Shoot and kill a 16-year-old girl, shot her 4 times in the chest, right in front of friends and family. Then the next day, you got another white cop serving a warrant or a summons or whatever, shoot another unarmed black guy. Why are white police officers still patrolling black communities? As opposed to focusing on this, you got Al Sharpton talking about introducing the George Floyd Fair Policing Act. We don't need new laws. We need to enforce current laws. There are laws on the books right now that should guarantee everybody fair policing. We need to enforce this. We don't need to start. If you can't enforce the current laws, why are you trying to introduce new laws? I'm just going to leave that alone. The third and final thing that bothered me was When you start including all these other races of people into our so-called victory, it takes the focus off what our real objective should be. Self-determination, ownership and control over our essential services. No race of people can live peaceably among others if they don't have any say or any ownership and control over their essential services. If everything that they need to live, to base their life upon, or how they live, is owned and controlled by everybody else but black people, what type of existence is that? Even the white people that's, that they praise, that march alongside of us, they wouldn't trade places with blacks for nothing in the world. They wouldn't live in an environment where everything that they need has to be obtained through ownership or through employment by black people. There's no way in the world they would do that. But they gladly want you to have that though. And you get these people that's out here in the park, that's outside the court waiting for this verdict to come down. And when they shouted out guilty, the people out here, they crying, talking about, this is a new America. Look, they've been killing black people in this country for 500 years. One verdict is not going to change the course of what this country's on. This country is still America. Ain't no new America. This is the same old America. You can't have a new America with the same whites in power and the same power structure intact. Now, you change that, then maybe we can talk about a new America. You got people out here crying, talking about, this is progress. This is the absolute opposite of progress. This is control. And our interpretation of what progress is killing us more than these killer cops. Progress is an advancement or towards a goal or destination. Control is maintaining the condition or advantage of the handler. So for all these accomplishments that blacks have obtained, with the assistance of whites right at their side, this continues along the path where we end up still following their laws, their politics, their policies. It does nothing to strengthen our people. It does nothing to restore us to a pre-slave state, But before I go off into a tangent on that, I'm going to talk specifically about progress and control in a later video. You know, but before I conclude this video, let me say this. No one, let me be clear, no one has a lower opinion of this country than I do. Even though this court had overwhelming evidence of the guilt of Derek Chauvin, I was still almost 100% certain that they would still find this guy innocent. I was so certain of it. I had bet two people $100 apiece that they would still find him innocent. Fortunately, they refused to take the bet. Why? Because even though the overwhelming evidence all pointed to his guilt, they were too uncertain that the court would do the right thing and find him guilty. They wouldn't even take the bet. And when you look at the people in tears because they were shocked into crying because the court did the obvious. When you are shocked by the obvious, if somebody call you, your mother, your auntie, call you and say, I'll be over there in a few minutes, and you hear a knock at the door, and you open up the door, and it's your mother or auntie, You're not going to start crying then. You knew she was coming. She called you 15, 20 minutes before she even got there. What are you crying for? When you have a court that have overwhelming evidence of this man's guilt, and the court actually find a white police officer guilty of murder, and you are shocked into tears, what type of society could base their livelihood with a court system that they have this little faith in? Especially black people. We better think about this, and we better take a second and third thought about blacks coming together and becoming their own resolution. But I'm going to end this video here. And if you like this video, please share it. And if you like the content, consider subscribing. And with this video, as with all my videos, it is for the complete liberation of my people. And I'll see you in my next message. Ashe.